they've been launched our Breaking Barriers in our community outreach. She is so dynamic. They was calling her the mayor of Philmont. But really helped us to launch and get success centers off the ground in our very formidable days. So now she is representing over at OEWD. Yes, she is. So we're just so blessed to have friends in high work. So we want to. Okay, friends.
Just want to say I'm honored to be in your presence. I'm honored for the sacrifices made for you graduates to get where you are, for what you've done even before you got to this place. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you were able to participate. I'm a first partaker of this Leaders Academy in our work for Success Center, so I'm very proud of the work that comes from this place. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the power that is greater than us all. So as we bless this food, we thank you for this momentous occasion. We thank you for this opportunity to celebrate, to lift up, to encourage, to highlight, and to be grateful in this moment. We thank you for this food, as we know it's going to be good. We thank you for Mr. Tracy Dixon, and we thank you for the leadership of this house and those that have participated, that have inputted, that have lifted up and encouraged and revealed. So we thank you, Lord, that these times and the seasons that we are in, that these folks will be correctly positioned where they are needed, where it is most impactful, and where lives are being changed, minds are being renewed, and hearts are being healed. So we thank you for this time. We ask that you bless this momentous occasion, this food, the fellowship, and the time of celebration. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Adrian. Big round of applause for Ms. Adrian. We'd also like to call up two of our fellows. This is our second annual, again, let me introduce myself. My name is Liz Jackson Simpson, and I'm the CEO of Success Centers. And before we eat, we want to share some libations from, this is our second annual Dream Keepers Leaders Academy, where we are helping to leaders within the African American and Black and Brown communities learn what it means to be an executive director in the ED and grow and strengthen their organization. So we'll tell you more about that, but we want to get to eat. So if Mr. Anisha and Mr. Adu will come up and do libations for us, please.
My name is Adubo, and I was born and raised in Africa. And growing up in a small village where we believe that the dead are not dead. And so everything we do, yeah, so we say a few words to our ancestors because we know they're among us. And most of the time we just pour some water on the ground because they were buried, and then the souls went up. So they're working with us. So I would like them, each of us, every ancestor, each of us, beg them to work with us and bless us. And we know that they've been with us for long all this week, and that's why we're here today. And then we pray that they're going to keep blessing us. Thank you.
My name is Darnisha Wright. I'm one of the participants in the program. I have a business that's based in Oakland, California, in the Bay Area, that is closely affiliated with Ghana. But I'm honored to be here for the people who was able to honor in the way of his true original home, or the organization in exists.
So you're watching us, and we're pouring this water for you, and bless you, and beg you to keep blessing us. And starting another journey today after finishing one of our training, and we're starting another one. Bless everybody here, and please, for those who are gone, and if you're listening to us, tell them that we're here, and that they need to keep watching on their hearts. Thank you.
And if any of you have a special ancestor whose spirit you would like to ask to join us here in the room tonight, if you could say the name of that ancestor and report to them as well.
Barbara. Janelle.
Leslie Howard Jr. Herman Allison.
Shirley Hingham.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Julie Don with Bayview Mortuary, Bayview.
Ruby Mae Francis.
And, you ready?
Iona and Arthur Jackson.
So even those who haven't called, are watching over us. So again, let's keep the memory of our ancestors in our family life in our hearts because they're taking care of us. Oh,
Zion Brooks Gaines.
everybody else?
Robert Hammond.
And I would like to report to my grandmother, Alma Garcia.
And I'll finish by pouring water for my mom who passed away while I was here, and I've never been able to go for a burial. So, Bonnie.
So we're going to turn the music back on, and everybody, please help yourself to some dinner, and then we'll get the program on. Okay? Thank you. Of Juneteenth celebration, I saw I've been hanging out with some of y'all. It's been so nice. Oh my goodness. So this feels really good to be celebrating Black excellence in San Francisco. Give yourselves a round of applause. To all the Juneteenth celebrations this weekend, and we got a day off yesterday. Well, some of us got a day off, some of us weren't yesterday, but it's all for the love. It's all for the love. My name is Liz Jackson Simpson, and I'm the proud CEO of Success Centers. Woo! And we're so grateful to be here as part of the Dream Keepers Initiative. So thank you, Dr. Sy and Dr. Davis for recognizing us and recognizing Black leadership in San Francisco. Success Centers was started over 40 years ago by Superior Court judges who saw the need to provide alternative education, and workforce development services, largely for the young men who are returning to community from Log Cabin Ranch. Well, we're kind of proud to say that that facility is shut down today. Yay! Woo! And it's because of efforts like you all are building and possess to keep our babies in the community. So we could not do this work by ourselves. We'd take all of us, mental health services, housing services, educational services, mental health services, youth development services, parenting services, to keep our families intact and keep our babies in the community. And so we got down to the point where there were so few young people in Log Cabin Ranch, it was costing more to staff it than to house the young people there. And we needed to figure out how we enhance the quality of services for our young people. And we found alternatives and created alternatives in the community. So we're so glad to be building up the fabric of the nonprofit industry in San Francisco and the Bay Area to ensure that our families and our communities are safe. And so we have grown. When I came back to Success Centers, I've been involved with Success Centers for 40 years. Since 2000, we were founded in 1982. And are celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. and was one of the founding staff with Success Centers. And I left and I came back and retired from the juvenile probation department. But during that time, I was trying to figure out how I grew myself to sit in this seat. And as we've all learned in the last 9 months, it's a hot seat. And you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're constantly thinking, drinking, breathing, how you're going to grow your organization, how you're going to sustain it, how you're going to be able to help more people. And when we came back, we were small. When I came back in 2010, we were a small $500,000 organization. And the board at that time was full of judges. And as we learned this year, judges can't fundraise. So I had the arduous task of kicking them judges off the board. Y'all gotta go if you can't help us figure out how we're gonna raise money and sustain this thing. And so I had to kick all the judges off and begin by rebuilding the room. Our programs were solid and sound and working with the young people, tried, true, and tested, but we had to rebuild our infrastructure. And then in 2018, when folks started seeing the growth and development of Success Centers, 4 agencies, well, actually more, came to us and said, hey, can y'all take our baby on? We're tired, we got complacent, we're not growing, things are changing, and we're not able to keep up. Can you guys take on our baby? So we decided that 4 of the organizations we merged with us or we acquired. And shoot me. But we did it. All 4 agencies we were able to acquire and brought into Success Centers, and that really helped us to catapult our growth. I'm proud to say that 90% of the staff retained with us. Woo woo! Just keep all the board members though. But allowed the board to select who they wanted to keep. But with that, we called on a good friend of ours, Dr. Renato Almanzor, to help us to build the Leaders Academy. So first we tried it out for 2 years solid within Success Centers to build the fabric, because we got rid of all the leadership, we kept some of the board members, but again, kept the real talent, which were the staff, and keeping the programs and the services going. But they need to be acclimated in a way of Success Centers and the leadership within Success Centers. So we developed the curriculum that you all were exposed to this year, and we practiced it internally for 2 years. And it really worked. So to the point to where the city came and poached us for a lot of our leaders, as you heard. We're so grateful to have Ms. Adrian Owens at the city level. About 10 of our staff got poached from us, but that's a good thing, because that's what we're about. We're a workforce development organization, and that was real proof that what we were doing and that what we espouse is tried and true. And so from marginalized community members all the way up to professionals that are now working with inside larger organizations and city government is just exactly what we were set to do. And so we, over the years, kept our eye on that North Star, and it's good to know that we got friends within the community, within city government, within corporations that had roots at Success. So thank you, Ms. Adrian, for continuing to support us and to be here. And to all the alumni, I see you back here, Mr. Tolliver, and you'll hear from Dr. Jones in a little while about their experience from the first cohort. And so when Dr. Sy and Dr. Davis brought, the mayor took $120 million from the police to figure out at the end of as part of the Black Lives Movement, with the wake of the George Floyd demise, that they took $120 million from the police to invest back into the Black and brown communities. And so here we are. What better investment to invest in Black and brown organizations that are supporting grassroots activities? We are the ones that are going to keep our organizations and our communities intact, each and every one of you. And so we offered up this, hey, we tried this, it worked for us, we know it can work for other organizations within the community. And so here we are. This is our second year of the Dream Keepers Initiative. And so we want to recognize and honor, we started off as 14 organizations One of our colleagues unfortunately got sick, but every single one of the other 13 suited up and showed up for 9 months this year. And came every month. It was like our personal retreat. It felt so good. And it feels so good to be here amongst family. And so we want to thank our family members for coming out and celebrating this today, because this ain't the end, this is only the beginning. We gotta keep this going. We gotta keep our affinity groups intact. We gotta keep our network intact, because every other community knows how to do this, and they do it well, right? The Asian community, the Latino community, but somehow we forgot about what community it is. And so this is an effort to ensure, because I can't do this work by myself. I'm grateful to my Success Center family. I'm grateful to all of you. It's good to be able to pick up the phone. Donna, we need a space at LinkedIn, girl. Can you hook a sister up? You know, Kendra, we don't know how to deal with these balloons. Can you help us design, put our balloon trees together? And, you know, Stephanie helped us. These people, you look at the table decorations. Aren't they beautiful? Again, another community corporate effort. These folks told me that they wanted $50 for a centerpiece. Them little worst, these look, our centerpieces are beautiful. They have, you learn how to do this today, you know, and we learned that through our networks. You know, we gotta figure out how to pull on our talent and our resources in the community. So we'll figure out who gets the centerpieces, but today, but these are beautiful centerpieces that were a corporate effort. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Cherie, and Valerie, and everybody who helped us put this together today. Again, we got to continue to come together, pull together, as you'll see tonight, and hear about funny stories of our experience and look at all these beautiful videos. Truly a corporate community effort. So with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker tonight. Is the director of our Dream Keepers initiative. This young man I've had the pleasure of working with for over 20 years. And as a matter of fact, I was with the department when he came in and was working with the young men at Log Cabin Ranch. And we had a literacy program that he ran. And then we also worked together throughout the YMCA and ran all kind of violence prevention programs, and we're still leading our community development and our restorative justice initiatives within Success Centers. So without further ado, our director of the DKI Success Centers Leaders Academy, Mr. Terrell Henderson.
This time I'm going to bring Dr. Saida Tufu Birch, who is the director for the Dream Keepers Initiative. And then also I'd like to recognize Stephanie Garcia and her team. So Dr. Birch is going to, Tufu Birch is going to give us an overview of the Dream Keepers Initiative. And we'll talk more about the overview of the program and what our role is and our cohort of emerging leaders. Right now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Tufu Birch to talk about the Dream Keepers Initiative.
Oh, I come from a culture of call and response. Good evening. I know we full. You know, this is about the 4th time I done had Tracy this week, so I know we full. Our bellies are full. Our minds and spirits are about to be full tonight with all this excellence that is in the room. As Terrell mentioned, my name is Dr. Saida Tufu Birch. And first, I am a child of God, a daughter, a wife, an organizer, a cultural orator, a disruptor of anti-Black racism and white supremacist ideology, and an advancer of Black liberation and indigenous sovereignty. I also happen to serve as the director of the Dream Keeper Initiative with the San Francisco Human Rights Commission. And it is my honor and privilege to be amongst all of you this evening, particularly to offer what DKI is all about. Mama Liz, and I want to thank Mama Liz. I want to thank the entire team at Success Center, Terrell, Nina, everyone who poured into this, into the planning, as well as into the 9 months and the follow-up that will come. So it's not only 9 months that goes into this, there's months of planning that goes into this. So thank you to the entire Success Centers team. As was shared, the Dream Keeper Initiative was in response to an event that we all experienced in 2020 when corporations and cities alike pledged that Black Lives Mattered. San Francisco actually proved that Black lives matter and still matter here in the city. So Mayor Breed, in partnership with Supervisor Walton and Director Davis at the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, made an initial investment of $120 million. It has since been annualized, so it's a now $180 million investment, $60 million a year, to ensure that Black folks can experience prosperity, liberation, and can imagine a future in the city, because we are worth just that. And so we make intentional investments across generations that, so that Black folks are experiencing feelings of joy and safety, are advancing educationally and economically, and are holistically healthy and thriving. One of the tenets of the Dreamkeeper Initiative is that we are growing organizations, their foundational knowledge as well as their capacity, which all of you participating in the Leadership Academy are participating in that tenet, are helping us to reach that goal. And so what I will leave you with is not stopping here, but really we're sitting in a room that is symbolic of the legacy of this community, of Bayview Hunters Point. We see all these beautiful photos that are playing on the slideshow as well as that are memorialized on the room. And so each of you are now charged with sustaining this legacy. Everything that you put into in the 9 months, it won't be done in vain, but you will go forth to help us maintain the dream, to help us maintain that the dreams continue to be realities and that our legacy is rooted not only in Bayview but across San Francisco. So I want to thank you for all of your service, thank you for your contribution, and I look forward to spending time with you in community in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Birch. Again, want to thank you and your staff and team for providing a segue for us to be able to produce this cohort and produce this Leadership Academy. Without your office and the funds for this, and Dr. Sheriff Davis, through way of OWD, this would not be possible at all. So again, we want to thank you and your team, everybody that you mentioned. So give a round of applause again. So why are we here, right? Why are we here? So I'm going to give you a quick leadership program overview. You see everyone looking up at the slides. It's going to be sticking out on cue as I'm talking. But nevertheless, I'm working out. So, anyway, why are we here? What is the leadership program all about? And so, as some stated, over the last 9 to 10 months, we had an interview process. We had an interview process that went citywide, and we're looking for Black and brown emerging leaders in San Francisco. Right? And so there was a process. A very competitive process with folks interviewing, and what we were looking for was a number of criteria, which I mentioned. And so through that, we selected 15.
All right, I'm going to start this way. So we had 15 folks selected for the leadership program academy. With that being said, we lost one along the way. Personal health reasons, unfortunately, and then we also had someone that was able to just fit the schedule. So with that being said, we selected 13 individuals for the program in the leadership academy. With that being said, for 9 months, we should be looking for folks to work on their overall fiscal organization responsibilities. That includes board development, fundraising, fiscal management, human resources, working with people, just to name a few. And so at the beginning of this, we had a meet and greet meeting in September after we selected for this program. We had a meet and greet over at Sheila Lounge. Everybody came out, we got a chance to meet each other, interact with one another, and become familiar with one another as we took this journey, partook on this journey with one another for the next several months. So in that, also, I'm supposed to be drawing or whatnot on the weekend, on Friday and Saturday. There's a visa doing a vision board. We had a vision board activity, and Erica Scott, who is a graduate from our first cohort last year, was kind enough to be in her space and host this board, or a visionary board for folks in this cohort day. So we want to recognize Erica. Thank you. September until May. Like I said, we cover fiscal responsibilities, management, human resources, board development, and then every Thursday, third Thursday of the month, we then rotating sites around there. So the council, which is available to lend us their space, conduct fishing well, like I said, I provided. We also went to LinkedIn a couple times. They had us in their space. We had to eat in a nice cafeteria, eat up all their food, with all the wonderful selection, things like that. We also was hosted by Ginsberg Architecture Firm. We had a board member, Leslie Taylor, who hosted us in that space. And then we also participated at Kecker, Van Ness and Peters, a law firm on Battery Street, downtown in San Francisco. So those are just a few of the locations. The Black Caucus hosted us in that space, gave us books for cohort participants and things like that. So the theme is to rotate and not only network with these organizations, but the people within it as emerging Black leaders throughout this leadership. So I want to thank, and you see back in the program, with special thanks and acknowledgments. There's a number of people we had to thank. Cannon YMCA, Demetrius Durham, and Jacinta Harper also hosted us in their space a couple of times as well. But throughout this journey, we used the Canvas platform. If some of you are familiar with like going to college and things like that, professors use it, for their curriculum, for their syllabus and grading and things like that. We didn't use it the first cohort, but this cohort we used it to communicate with our emerging leaders about the curriculum, homework assignments, coaching, and things like that. So everyone in the cohort received coaching from our C-suite team, right? And so, but just because you had one coach that specialized in one particular area, we didn't have access to the other coaches on our dream team to help you with whatever you need to help, right? So our CFO, Adrian Trujillo, did not coach anyone, but a number of people took advantage of setting up appointments to go over their fiscal responsibilities and their budgets and their projections and things like that. So those all were things that were available for the leadership having cohort for folks to take advantage of, right? So along the way, we hit some hurdles, bad weather, traffic, getting kids to school, you name it, losses, losing family members, and this cohort really bonded and gelled together and picked each other up. We had check-ins every time we met on the third Thursday, and those check-ins are private, sacred between us that we'll keep and take to our graves with us, and respect what folks are sharing in their personal life and what they're going through. And so that bonded and banded and moved together as well. And so Nato Almanzor, who will later, was our lead facilitator and leading the curriculum. And then in different months, we rotated as far as our expertise and specialty in regard to what we presented, right? And so, for instance, Adrian did financial and fiscal responsibility and budget stuff 1 month. Dr. Katrina Jackson Neighbors, who couldn't be with us today, focused on chief HR, administrative roles, and people, right? Human resources, things like that, volunteers, right? And so each one of us had a specialty in what we presented. And then we had affinity groups that folks worked in with together. And so on the side, they shared what they were doing in the community, supporting each other's events, as well as working on homework, sharing resources, and just supporting each other from top to bottom. So a lot of networking took place throughout this cohort. So that being said, in 9 months, and here we are in the 10th month, recognizing our next cohort of emerging leaders in the community and what they will do going forward. So you'll hear a lot from these individuals and their roles, capacities, and what they do. Some of them have already been doing big things, some of them are emerging, and some of them are well on their way. So with that being said, so I'm going to turn the mic back over to Dr. Liz Jackson.
One day. Yeah, thank you, Terrell. Our keynote tonight is Dr. Mary Ann Jones. She is the CEO of Westside Community And I've had the honor and pleasure of knowing Dr. Jones, even when she was clinical director with Westside, and had taken over Westside organization, 12, 13 years ago. And I was shocked and honored to have her as part of our first cohort, because I probably learned just as much from her as hopefully she got from us. But it doesn't matter, even after being 42 years in the business, there's always, things change, there's always more to learn. But this is what it's about in our network. And so, I'd like to ask, and Dr. Jones and I are still very involved in yet another leadership mastery fellowship together now, as we continue to grow in our space, think about succession planning and just our own personal development as well. So we've been hanging out a lot this year as we continue to grow and strengthen one another. And that's what's expected among all of us and throughout this initiative. If there's nothing else that I hope that we have given and contributed, is that we've got to stick together. We've got to support one another, iron sharpens iron. So without further ado, I'm going to
Thank you so much. In my host a lot to say except that this was such an amazing experience for me to go through my cohort, and I think for all of you that have gone through it, you do know that you were with the best of the best. We don't have enough money to afford to have the type of consultation that we had with this team. And so for me, even though I've been CEO since 2010, I started at Westside in 2004. It was terminated in 2007. What's known about me, I was fired and came back as the CEO. And the reason that's important is because one thing that I learned, I think one of the most critical things I learned in my cohort is you don't know what you don't know. You gotta really surround yourself with people that know more than you do. And which is really hard for us in leadership positions because it's very lonely for us. And it's also very humbling to have to call somebody in the middle of the night and be like, I don't know what to do. One thing I know, there's always going to be another crisis. Whatever you are, things are going to be great, but there's going to be a crisis. And so the way that I learned to weather that storm is by surrounding me with people that can really help me. And I would say that before I went to the program, I did have people that could help me, but I don't think that I was going to be as vulnerable as I became in the program. And so I would really, my message to you would be to continue this, continue your connections with each other. I think that you should always have somebody that you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're in crisis. We become very lonely, we are very isolated, and so one thing that I noticed that I wasn't doing was creating new relationships. I have people that I've been with for many years. Liz is, we go way back, just from being in the community. But I don't think that I would really reach out to people the way that I do now and recognize how important it is to not be the smartest person in the room. And I'm around a lot of leaders all the time that they're like the smartest people on their teams, and I caution them. You need people that can advise you. You need experts, and these experts that you've had the benefit of spending. I didn't even realize it was 9 months because it goes so fast. You can still reach out to them. I'm sure you all created a book. You got all your checklists in there. There were so many things that I didn't know that I didn't know. That if I would have had an audit, Westside could have closed down. Westside has been here since 1967. And so we're only as good as the information that we have, the support system that we have. So in addition to having somebody that you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning, you should always have somebody that you're pulling along. Because we all need help. In fact, one of the people that came and spoke to you, Gina Jackson, was my coach. And it's made So I want to congratulate you all for going through this. I hope that the funding continues to come through because as Black leaders, we really need this. We don't have anything. I didn't learn any of this in school when I got my doctorate. No one teaches you any of this. And so having this experience, I hope will transform your life in the way that mine has been transformed. I have to say, I was with Liz recently at a training. We were in a monastery. It was like Sister Act. You know, just to be open to these new experiences. I think that I was a little afraid before. So I just encourage you to take risks. It's, you know, try. It's okay to fail, and continue to thank this team, because you can kind of run off from here and you be on to the next thing. I don't think that they realize the impact they have on us. So I just want to say again that I'm very grateful and to congratulate you on congratulations again. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Another round of applause for Dr. Jones. Yes, indeed. We're together till the wheels fall off because we need each other. Like I said, iron sharpens iron. So, again, you hearing about this amazing team. And this is, again, like Dr. Jones said, you got to have people around you that's smarter than you. So I'd like to have Dr. Renato Almanzor stand up, Adrian Trujillo stand up, Brad Henderson stand up, Rita Maglu to the front, and then there's three other facilitators that helped us. Jenny Price, who is the COO of Success Centers. Jenny, we go way back as well too. She was clinical director at Huckleberry House. She also was, we reunited through Renato a few years ago. She's our COO. The best grant fund development writer ever in the world, ever. We have raised so much money under Jenny's and learned so much about grant development under Jenny. And then we can't leave out Melody Hernandez. Oh my God, she is a wonderful grandmother as well too. And knows so much about nonprofit infrastructure. You know, you heard about Adrian, who we two have been together for almost 30 years at the Private Industry Council. We're only 29 but Adrian and I go way back, and you know, he has managed huge organizations. I'm just so grateful that they are all sticking around and continuing to support Success Centers and willing to go along this journey with us. So thank you all so much for all your help and support. And I can't leave out Ms. Val, Director of Technology, who makes sure that all this magic happens. And then Joseph, who's taking these beautiful slides of us throughout. I was like, wow, we got to take action, real action, all of us. So we were sharing the slides on campus, you know, so all this technology, we're learning to use technology as well together. So with that, we got to introduce you to the power of the hour, all the fellows. So if all of you could come up and join us up front here so everybody can see your beautiful faces.
Go ahead and have a seat. So, as Liz said, and I love to share, my name is Renato Almanzor, what I love to share is that my full name is Dr. Renato Patrick Uncio Gramangan Almanzor Jr. And it is fine if you call me Renato. And we wanted to actually spend a little bit of time now. I'm trying to remember how much we coached you all on this part, and you just say no. So just to let you know, I want to just pose some questions, and I'm going to look at some of y'all and answer some of them, to the extent that you want, right? It's not intended to put you on the spot, but we wanted to come together today to celebrate and to reflect together about what this journey has been. But we wanted to reflect together this time in front of people, right? So because I think it's hard to be able to say, even with Terrell's overview of the program, what did it mean? Like, did you all get out of it? So we want to acknowledge that this whole program wasn't happening in a vacuum. And I say that because we are living through this new word that I learned, syndemic, right? A time of multiple crises causing seismic economic, political, environmental, technological, and social shifts, which we are long from being settled, right? So we're in the mix of all this stuff. And as Black leaders in our communities, you are at the front lines and the fault lines of these changes that are reshaping our world. And our contribution to the Dreamkeeper Initiative was to provide you the space and place of refuge to strengthen your leadership and management skills while also healing and supporting you through these times. So I'm going to ask probably 3 or 4 questions and not try to take a long time. And I may just ask a couple of you if you'd like, just to answer the question, and then I'll pose the next question and a couple others to answer. Right? So, to start, I'm curious, what were you actually expecting when you applied and got accepted? And how well did we meet your expectations?
Cheers. My expectation was to get my business up and running and to have some knowledge of how to keep it running. And I totally got all of that done with the whole book to teach my team on how to keep my organization going. And I need volunteers and sponsors and grant writers, and that's what I need to keep my business going. But I was able to get grants and to, get my business up and running, and my nonprofit is fully legit, and that's exactly what I needed. And I thank you guys so much, especially for my coaching with Miss Katrina. I'm sorry she wasn't in person, but she helped me a lot, and she still continues to help me with the things that I'm going through. So I appreciate you all. Thank you, Liz. I love you so much.
I just want to acknowledge that. So part of it, when you started the program, you weren't a 501c3. No. And today, she is. Brochure, business card, so make sure you kind of share this. Okay. Oh gosh. So, little details here and there. So, if you'd like, why don't we first quickly just say who you are and whatever organization you're working with, or what are you working on? Because I forgot that little detail. You saw their names in the program. If you could just quickly pass the mic down, just say who you are and the organization that you're working with.
My name is Lisa Wynn. My organization is called United Love Inc. And what we do is we specialize in destigmatizing mental health in Black and urban communities.
My organization is Manifesting Dreams, which is a youth development program, and within the program we want to teach young people how to become entrepreneurs.
Hi everyone, my name is Donna Hilliard. I'm the Executive Director of Code 10 We are a workforce development nonprofit, but what we really pride ourselves in is breaking barriers that stop people from succeeding, and that means succeeding in whatever that looks like for them, whether you need to get housing, whether you need to sign up for some type of therapy, and whether you need to get a job. So, glad to be here with y'all.
Hello, my name is John Henry. I'm Executive Director of Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm a dismantler. But we are a media nonprofit. We all about changing the narrative, storytelling of our community, also uplifting all of our community organizations leaders. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Antoinette Davis. I'm the founder of Inspire. Inspire work with youth in middle school to high school who have trouble in school, really in class. So my nonprofit is actually a tutoring service, college tour, or whatever the student needs help with. I'm Lakeisha Howard. My organization is called Keish Cares, and my organization is to give a little hope and help to those in need. And so what that means is it can be housing, it can be food, it can be whatever you may need. We also help with violence prevention and youth entrepreneurship as well, and we teach them how to work in the community and to give back. And I give out diapers, wipes, and clothes monthly.
I used to have a nonprofit called Naturalicious International Hair Braiding Academy. I used to teach an after-school program at the African American Art and Culture Center. And since I started the program here, I changed it to Oracle Innovations. I used to do hair and makeup on deceased for people in my community, and now I make buttons for for keepsakes. People pass away, my family and my friends in the community. So I'm still doing the work.
My name is Darnisha Wright. I'm the Executive Director of Ubuntu 1865 Cultural Healing and Education Foundation. The goal of my organization is to take young people from the Bay Area and connect them with young people on the continent, develop relationships across the water, and in the process accomplish some healing for both sides.
Every time I have to say my name, I'm kind of concerned. Do you know the Filipino dish adobo? Yeah, but I'm adobo. I'm not adobo, so I'm always afraid someone will eat me somewhere if I don't pay attention. So I'm adobo, and I'm the director of the Africa Advocacy Network. And you may have noticed, English is my language number 4, so bear with me. And we do provide immigration legal services to African and Canadian immigrants. And the extension of that is that we're also working toward our integration and also bridging the gap between the African American community and the Black immigrant community.
So I want to get back to even that question, right? What were you expecting when you applied? What were you hoping for? What did you actually get? If you got anything. I'm just making assumptions here. But you got something. Donna.
Sorry, I just had to listen to John Henry say he doesn't want to hog the mic, but if anyone knows John Henry, that's love you, John. So honestly, it was funny because I was scared to interview, and I was like, I know I need this, but after the interviews, I was like, I feel like this is a good fit for me, but I don't know if they see it's a good fit for me because where my organization's at, right? And because the name Code Tenlorn, everyone's like, oh, they're doing all these big things, right? But we needed that foundation piece. We needed that structure. We needed the tools that Mama Liz and everyone gave us. And I got way more out of this than I would have ever thought. And I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. No, I will cry, but because I'm so passionate about this work. So like I tell people every time, I'm like, God is a trip, right? Because God will put you in places and put you around people at the right time. And when I tell you He did that, it was amazing. Everything that could have happened or come up in my organization, from scaling from 10 people to 42 in 2 weeks, the HR difficulties, everything you can think of for applying for a 501c3 so we can break the chains, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, to everything along that route, right? Learning how to grant write. I set a whole new structure. Everybody on my team grant writes now because we want programs built for the people, right? You can't get that if you have one person sitting on top doing that. So these are all the things that I learned that have just strengthened us through this journey, and I'm so very grateful for this 9 months. The instructors were amazing, but also the folks in the cohort, I learned from each and every one of y'all. And the biggest thing I'll say I learned is that I'm not alone, right? That I'm empowered to do this work with all my people. And you're talking to someone like, I got my GED in jail, y'all. So like when you get into this work, you're so passionate about doing this work, but you may not understand how to put an Excel sheet or budget together. And so, yeah, really grateful for the time. And I could run my mouth without going out.
so for me, so I found the leadership program online, just late night Googling, and I was in my like 4th semester in my undergrad, and I've been doing a lot of research on my nonprofit, and so after my last semester of school, I was like, what's next? And so I was like, let me go ahead and apply for this leadership program and see if I can get in. And so I was like, oh, this might be a little bit easy, but for me, right? I went through a whole interview process and everything, and I was like, I hope I get in, I hope I get in. And so luckily I got in, and going into the program, I'm thinking, I don't know what I got myself into. It's like a whole other like master program. Like I'm in grad school, like seriously, a lot of work. And so I'm still like a baby getting off the ground with Inspire. And so all this work, like learning about fundraising, building a team, and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a lot. But anyway, after a couple of the class, I was like, okay, Anthony, you gotta really buckle down and really do this, right? And so, I guess what you would say, it's like, it was a lot, but I learned so much in this program, and I'm like so thankful for being a part of this leadership program.
So some of the curriculum was around leadership, some of it was around management, and some of it was around organization stuff, fundraising. We also did it like checking in and having you in small groups and large groups. So can any of you share what are some actually tangible impacts that you know or changes in your leadership, management, or even organization? Yeah, let me share with you.
The biggest tangible that I got out of this program was a budget. It's easy to dream, but trying to, in math is not my strongest topic, and my rationalization is I just need to add more zeros to my account so that it doesn't matter so much if I make one mistake. But Adrian was a lifesaver. He was just so patient and just asked all the right questions. Because it's a big thing, when you're trying to do something that you've never done before, that you don't know someone else who's done it before. You don't even really know the categories of things that you need. You need somebody who's been there before who can help prompt you so that you can figure it out. And he was just so, methodical about it, and did not make me feel, like I was asking silly questions or that it was wrong with me to not even know, what these numbers were, what these categories were. And at the end of the call, I was so nervous, but I actually missed my first appointment with him, had to reschedule, and I was so nervous. And at the end of that call, it was like 1,000 pounds had been lifted off of my shoulders, and it was just so clear. It's still a lot of money that I need, but I knew how much, and I knew where. So that was empowering for me. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.
First of all, I didn't know that I would get in because I was sure my English was good enough, to sit around because I'm the only brother from Africa in the group, and so I wasn't quite sure I couldn't get in. And I would like to thank you because sometimes when understanding you really have to pay attention. So these were certainly some of the focus moments, when I was speaking to you guys. When you doing this kind of work, it's a lot of sacrifice. That's what I like to share. And let's not forget about ourselves. So many non-profit workers went to bed and everything, and then never woke up. So just because there was so much concern, about others, and there's so much things, there's so many things to take care of. And for me, among all the things, I think Renato really brought me to say, hey, what do you really need? And something I have been thinking about was the board. And guess what? I even recruited one of my board members in the cohort. Because my focus was mostly to have a board which is in majority made of women. I'm from a male-dominated society, and I was thinking that there's a chance here to operate a shift, right? How to put our sisters and our mothers on the front line. And speaking to Renato and The few times, I mean, not always, I'm sorry about that, but you know, I was really happy to tell you, hey, I've got 2, I've got 3. And last Saturday I had my very first meeting with all my board members. And so it was a great meeting. And you saw my board chair, and I think, you know, yeah, I've made it. And there's so much to learn. But you're going to keep hearing from me though. So thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Yeah, and part of the impact, so while you all were centered in the work, we also kept reminding you to center caring for yourself and the community, right? So I'm curious about what were some of the impacts that the Program Leadership Academy might have had on you in working with the community, what you provided for the community, what the community provided for you, and any collaborations that kind of emerged out of this as well.
Okay. So, for me, what I got out of it was a bird's eye view of what my nonprofit really looked like, right? So it was foundation. And what I need to sustain my company. Humanitarian work, we love what we do, it feels great to us, but it should be free. And it can be sustainable if we run it right. So thank you, Ms. Lynch. Just thank you guys, because I was able to see the gaps. You know, when people see United Love, we look like a big corporation, but you know, it's not really like that. And I really want to, like what John Henry said, get it activated, you know? So I really do appreciate, you know, just giving me a bird's eye view and where I can fill in the blanks and what I need to do. So that's what I took away. I wish the cohort was longer, you know, because this is great information. We was able to collaborate, Keisha Care, Melanie, Antoinette. I mean, John Henry and Terrell was like my big brothers, you know? They came, they supported. We also had Susan Holt, she came by, and, you know, she supported and spoke at our event. And within 1 month, we were able to raise $6,000. So it was amazing, you know, and I just want to thank you guys for creating like a cohort where we are a family. And I know that we're not alone, you know, so I'm not crazy. And we, as CBO leaders, we are depleted. We go to sleep at 11:30, 12 o'clock. Sometimes we can't go to sleep, you know, and we're angry about the system. We're angry about all this stuff. But us having each other, we're able to talk amongst each other because we all see it. So you're not crazy. So I just want to say thank you. I just want to say that I worked with both sides of the conversation, and we did a Give Back Day in Oakland. It was my first time partnering with John Henry, and it was such an amazing experience. It taught me how to and what I needed to be better at the events that I'm doing. And so I want to thank you for that, because you walked with my team. All we did was bring our stuff, and they set it all up for us, and they was ready for us, and they just told us, you go on over here, and you go here, and we passed out, and we interacted with the community as we should. And so we bless the people, and I keep using that, so you're going to hear me. I'm going to keep blessing the people, and I thank you, and I thank everybody. And thank you for supporting our Black History brunch that we did, and we collaborated with everybody, and we were able to show African art. And so I appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Couple last comments, and I want to also quote from what Dr. Jones shared in her keynote, which is, you know, while we do this for you all, and we're doing it for the community, the expectation isn't that you just hoard it, right? So I'm curious about what your thinking is in terms of how you're going to pay it forward. Like, how are you going to keep living this out? And it isn't just about what you got, but also what you give, right? The time that we spent together was generous and vulnerable, right? Some people said that, even Dr. Jones talked about it. It's generous and vulnerable when we build our time together. So I'm curious how you think you might be able to put this forward, pay it forward.
Really just want to say, you know, how we're going to pay for it is uplifting the young people. You know, too many times in our community, I yell about it all the time on my podcast, how do we bridge the gap between the elders and the young people? When we walk out of here today, we have to remember we have to uplift the young people. It's a big disconnect in our community. The only way this Dreamkeeper opportunity works, to keep dreaming forward, to have joy, we have to embed the tools into young people. And it's going to start at elementary, middle school, all the way up to high school. But we're going to continue to do our part. Again, to just speak to everybody up here. This 9 months for everybody it was ups and downs. You know, when I started this program, I just lost my mom. Then I lost my cousin. We all was going through community stuff. And what it did was just really understand how hard it is to be able to learn and deliver. And it always brings me back to school because it's like our young people, all the stuff that's going on in our community, we expect them to go to school and get straight A's. We got parents in housing with domestic violence. We got communities wrestle with bullets every night. We got drugs and fentanyl on our street. You know what I mean? And then it's like, so it put me back into like that school mode when I came here. And I want to thank Terrell because Terrell and Renato just really gave me that structure, man. I'm who I am. I walk in and think I can just do everything. You know what I'm saying? T like, nah, John, they working like the T. So they kept me humble the whole time. But really to pay this forward, we gotta really invest in our young people. Because, you know, sometimes our elders, we get so far, unfortunately in our community, we go to the grave with all the information. So this program, what it meant to me was an opportunity to receive the torch from Liz, from T, from different folks in here, to really take this information and build our community. There's so much work that is needed out here. This leadership program, it was developed and designed and put together so well. And I just want to thank all y'all because I learned so much. Right? I'm just like a go-doer. And I learned from Renato is you gotta like delegate, right? I'm just like, if it don't get done right, I do who I gotta get done, right? But they really taught me to utilize my team, utilize my board, and really rely on people, right? Sometimes it's like we get caught into your name is on everything, right? That's the whole thing about we didn't talk about branding. Your name is on everything. So whenever something goes wrong, you always look at it as a leader, everything follows back on you. And sometimes you have to be okay with things not going right and let other people do things to move forward. And the last thing that I took away, what I always believed in, leadership is about demonstrating what's possible. And this is a program of leadership. All these amazing folks here have demonstrated what's possible. We put a little effort and time and consistency in the work.
So I just want to show appreciation for I was trying to close it, but I didn't have much. One word, okay.
I mean, definitely my one word is a tribute. You know, it's a tribute to all our sisters here. And I'd like to also salute Brother John because we were just the two guys and we made it through. But every time I went, I kept looking around and I saw so many sisters. I said, oh my God, we have so much to learn, you know, from you guys. And I think that, you know, non-profit work is not just, you know, for our sisters, it's for everybody. Because the work is so huge and I would really, really like to say, God bless you all. And keep attracting more people. And John, you and I need to bring, you know, more guys around, right? But again, you know, may God bless you. And thank you so much.
Right, so we're gonna go and do the ceremony part now, which I am turning it over to Terrell. So you want to stay here.
Without further ado, I'd like to recognize our 2023 Emerging Black Leaders here in San Francisco. In the order, so. Adubo Traore. Anisha Wright. Utopia Daniel. Lakeisha Howard. Antoinette Davis. Mr. John Henry. Donna Hilliard.
I'm sorry, just so y'all know, whenever I get anything, I always salute it to my team because without them, I'm nothing. And thank you, because you all are the next generation of leaders, and this is proof that you can take out time to learn and continue learning, so I'm gonna always pass the torch to y'all. Love y'all, thank you.
Kedra Rowe. Lisa Wynn. We have a few other folks that weren't able to make it tonight for scheduling conflicts. We did have this scheduled for another date, and so conflicted with their calendars. We want to recognize these individuals as well. Maika Pinkston, Deetra McKinney, and Melody Downey Huff. And I'd like to take this time before we close out. Again, this is a collaborative effort and a solid, strong team across the board. Many people play a number of roles and play their positions in order to make this happen on a daily and monthly basis. And so, while I do get a lot of the credit, is that without these folks and us collaborating as a team, none of this happens. And everybody has a strong, solid role. So I do want to recognize our team as well. I'd like to recognize Joseph Aponte for filming, taking pictures, all of the co-hosts. We wanted to take these pictures and simple this slideshow together for us. So I'd like to recognize you for your exemplary leadership as well. I'd like to recognize our IT director, Ms. Valerie Cook. Ms. Valerie, we affectionately call her. We always collaborated every month, no matter where we were. She collaborated with the IT teams on the sites and facilities and making sure everything went off without a hitch for those that needed to attend virtually, for our guest speakers and some of our C-suite folks that work remotely. So Ms. Valerie Cook, Ms. Valerie Cook. This young lady here, many of you may know Kalina King. She was our program coordinator. She left at the beginning of May. And so she had a lot of roles in helping implement and working side by side with me. But she she's not here, but this lady right here, Liz is Liz Jackson Simpson's executive assistant, Nina Camp Daly. She's filled in, and she's a jack of all trades, and she's held me down over this past month, and I'm going crazy and everything. So whenever I call her, text her, no matter a weekend, what time, or whatever, she gets the job done. And so I want to recognize Nina Camp Daly for being a team player and a soldier in all facets. This gentleman here, you've already heard from him, but he doesn't get enough credit. He wasn't able to attend last year for a town conflict as well, but Dr. Renato Almanzor has been our lead facilitator and leading us every month, and then also helping us cultivate a sense of community and fellowship and family amongst one another. And so he always has us check in, and he keeps it real, and we keep it real amongst each other. So Dr. Renato Almanzor, appreciate your exemplary leadership and recognition. I'm sure if he's still here, but our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Adrian Trujillo, keeps us in line, keeps our books and receipts in order. He also did a workshop on fiscal management and budget, and although we didn't coach individuals specifically, he fielded a number of phone calls from our emerging leaders as far as helping them work on their budgets and getting things in order and kind of telling them some raw and uncut information like this is not going to look too good and this not going to fly. So with that being said, we talk a lot about fiscal responsibility and budget management. So I'd like to recognize Adrian Trujillo for his contribution.
As the first cohort person said, it keeps us out of jail.
She's not here, I already mentioned her name, but our former program coordinator, she was going to be here tonight, but Kalina King, we'd like to recognize her. She just left on 12 to work on some other endeavors, and I do want to recognize Kalina because, again, along with Nina, she held our team down and from the first cohort in this cohort. So Kalina King is recognized. Melody Hernandez, who couldn't be with us tonight, she was planning to be here, so please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. I'd like to recognize Melody Hernandez, one of our consulting specialists in grant writing and working with our teams, urgent leaders, and also helping them write for money, and then just coaching them up really well and providing accessibility to a number of opportunities for funding. So Melody Hernandez, we'd like to recognize her as well. Dr. Katrina Jackson Neighbors, who couldn't be with us, she had a last minute emergency. Please keep her in your thoughts and prayers, our Chief HR Administrative Officer. And then Ms. Jenny Price, our COO. She's working virtually, and we'd like to recognize Jenny's contributions and her coaching and her workshops as well. And then last but not least, I'd like to recognize our CEO, Mrs. Liz Jackson Simpson. Leadership and fellowship.
Very fortunate.
So with that being said,
So y'all know we can't do it without our fearless leader.
So with that being said, give us a last round of applause for our 2023 Emerging
thank you and congratulations again. This has been, we had so much fun. Again, I think I get more out of this experience than hopefully we offer y'all, but again, I'm still growing and learning after 42 years. But as I look at these pictures and think about all the fun time that we have, I also see a number of volunteers and people who, in addition to all of you and Success Center, again, the rest of Success Center team stand up. Again, without your volunteerism, we couldn't do this without your work, hard work. But then I also look around the room and see the family members. Y'all see my crazy husband up there. 45 years of putting up with me. Putting up with him. Y'all already know, Auntie, Lord have mercy. But again, without his support, John was just asking me, where did Brian go? Joffrey, without family, none of this could happen. None of this could happen, because as you all heard from our fellows, I'm up at 4 o'clock every morning thinking, plotting, scheming, trying to figure out how we can do our work better. And they're right there. He listening to me, cry, moan, celebrate, pick up something, give me some money, I need some more money. He's willing to write the check. So I just want all the family members to please stand up, because we can't do none of this without y'all. Please stand up. Family, friends, supporters, these are our ideas that we have, passion that we have about our people, about our work, about our community, and we cannot do it without our families and friends who are there listening to us, helping us to do whatever it takes to make this happen. So we want to just thank all of y'all, because I know how family comes into play and how they are the only ones that are really the first ones that were there to help. And they may not have been able to do nothing but listen to us while we grow, but we appreciate y'all, truly, truly appreciate you. I mean, they make beautiful gifts. You like my gift, Miss Agnes? Thank you, Miss Agnes, for this beautiful day. And this is the kind of stuff that keeps me motivated and going and growing, and knowing that y'all out there supporting us to win beneath our wings. And so thank you, baby, for the lay, beautiful lay, and thank you all for your continued support of all of our people and all of us around this world. Thank you. Before you leave, everybody go over there. Those are our future leaders. These are magazine covers that we designed to showcase and to highlight the work that each and every one of these fellows have completed or aspired to achieve. We also have gifts for all of y'all. Ms. Darnisha made some beautiful stoles that were imported from Africa, so it's taken a little time for some of them to come. But inside, we have handouts for you so you know the significance and the origin of those stoles, so that you will always remember who we are as well. Melody couldn't be here with us tonight. She also made some very beautiful keepsake bracelets for each and every one of you. So please don't forget to pick up your gifts. Family members, please enjoy the centerpieces. Y'all figure out who will get the centerpieces. But again, thank you for coming out, Dr. Sy, and spending the whole evening with us. Yes.